The final injury report here in Week 12, where the Packers take on the Minnesota Vikings, just came out, including 2 players ruled out for the Packers, 6 questionable, and also 2 doubtful. On top of that, a key player returns to practice today for the Green Bay Packers. Let's break it all down, go over the Packers injury report, the Vikings final injury report with all the designations here in Week 12. If this sort of thing does interest you and you want your Packers injury updates, as well as everything in between, definitely go down and hit that subscribe button. So without further ado, let's dive right down into it and bring the injury report up on the screen. As you can see, it's even longer than it was on Wednesday due to a couple of added players to the injury report for veteran rest and the player that has returned to practice. We'll first go over that. It is Jayden Reed returning from his foot/shoulder injury. We know he had that foot injury he was playing through, then broke his collarbone earlier in the season, was on IR up until this point. He has returned to practice in limited fashion, but he is ruled out. There's no chance of him playing in this Vikings game. Maybe he'll have the opportunity to play against the Lions on Thanksgiving, but my best bet would be the Bears the week after that. But we'll see what happens next week. If he gets a couple days of good practice next week, maybe the Packers get him cleared and would be comfortable with putting him out there. But really nice to see Jayden Reed return to practice. Could be a nice boost for this offense that have really been without a true slot wide receiver up until this point. In terms of the other player that was ruled out of this game, it is Nate Hobbs at cornerback with the knee injury. We saw him out last week, also out this week. This was to be expected when that injury was announced. It said he's going to miss a minimum of 2 games, so we'll see if he's able to practice next week. I would assume he'll be out against the Lions as well, just because, Carrington Valentine's playing so well. Let Nate Hobbs get fully healthy. He probably hasn't been healthy all year, and his play definitely suffered because of that. So just let the guy get healthy. And that's seemingly what the Packers are doing. Now, the one player that is doubtful, it is Quay Walker, who didn't practice all week. It was considered a day-to-day injury with that neck stinger, but he didn't get a single day of practice. Interestingly, he's not ruled out, but he is doubtful, so don't foresee him playing in this game with such a quick turnaround to next Thursday against the Lions. They're probably aiming to get him back in that game. Now for the 6 players that are questionable. At the top, we have Carl Brooks, who didn't practice Wednesday and Thursday, but did return to practice today, limited and is questionable. Matthew Golden with the shoulder/wrist injury is also questionable. Josh Jacobs, limited yesterday, limited today with that knee contusion injury, is also questionable. And I was thinking about this. I know a lot of people want the Packers to rest Josh Jacobs. I'm not really on that board. If he's cleared and if he has no swelling or limited swelling and range of motion is back. A lot of people are saying rest him until Thursday, until Thanksgiving. That's a more important game. These are all important games. The Packers are still second in the NFC North. They're 6-3-1, and they're about to have 3 divisional games in a row and 4 divisional games in the next 5 weeks. They need every win they can get, especially against a division opponent, even it being the Minnesota Vikings. So you play your best players if they're cleared to play. And I think Josh Jacobs will be cleared to play, and I think he will play. Now, don't force feed him the football. Maybe keep him on a snap count, sprinkle in some more Emmanuel Wilson. I'm all cool for that, but the Packers are a better football team with Josh Jacobs on the field. So you don't just rest him just because you have the Lions quickly on Thursday. You play to win the game, and you take it week by week. That's my thoughts on it. I think Josh Jacobs will end up playing. The other 3 questionable players, Lucas Van Ness, limited all week, could return to action after missing, about the last month or more. So that would be great to see. Need more production out of this pass rush group to everyone not named Micah Parsons. Dontavian Wicks, calf injury, limited all week, is questionable. Savion Williams didn't participate Wednesday, limited Thursday, didn't participate yet again Friday, but is questionable. So the fact that he downgraded today and he's still questionable tells me this was a planned no practice for Savion with that foot injury. Obviously, we saw last week for the Giants game, he was in a walking boot and still ended up playing. So I would assume Friday was, just letting him rest, and they're still listing him as questionable. if he re-injured that or couldn't practice Friday, I would assume he'd be either out or doubtful. So, chances are that Savion will be available for this game. Some other notes on this injury report. Aaron Banks got a veteran rest day today. Seems like they're trying to give him more veteran rest days during practice. Seemingly it worked out last week. I think that was his best game as a Green Bay Packer against the Giants. All the other players, no designations. Javon Bullard, Edgerrin Cooper, Romeo Doubs, Jordan Love, Brandon McManus, so seemingly McManus returns to action at kicker this week, Bo Melton, Keyshawn Nixon, Micah Parsons, Zach Tom, and Christian Watson, all good to go, no designations. All right, so let's dive down into the Vikings injury report. Quickly want to go over my picks for this game on Sleeper. Big shout out to them. Click the link down in the description, sign up, and use code BASS when making a first-time deposit and get that matched 100%. Up to $100. Here are the 4 picks I have for this game. I have Jordan Love more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. I think it's going to be a good day for Love and company, including Christian Watson, who I have more than 47.5 receiving yards. He got the most snaps out of all receivers this past week. He's fully back, and he could get this in one play. I have Aaron Jones more than 52.5 rushing yards. I feel like the Vikings are going to lean heavily into the running game, as they should. That would be their way to keep this game close. Like every other team, basically play keep away from the Packers and hold the ball, try to win the time of possession battle. And I just think that line is pretty low for Aaron Jones playing against his former team. But I do have less than for Justin Jefferson at 69.5 receiving yards. He's been going through it, not happy with how the team's playing, not happy with the quarterback play, trouble in paradise. I don't know. I feel like the Packers could hold him under this mark. Carrington Valentine is playing some really good football, and J.J. McCarthy's playing some very, very bad football and isn't really able to get the ball out to Justin Jefferson as much as he deserves. So I'm going less there. If you want to make your own picks, tail mine, fade mine, whatever it may be, definitely go check out Sleeper. All right, so let's dive down into the Minnesota Vikings injury report. This is going to be a lot quicker as they only have 2 players questionable on this injury report. So first, let's go over those players. First is Jonathan Grenard, their edge rusher. He didn't practice on Wednesday, but they didn't practice overall as an estimation. So really the only 2 days they practice, he was limited and is questionable. I see him playing. Ryan Kelly with a concussion, full participation all week, questionable. I also see him playing. And then we see Christian Darrisaw at the top. Didn't practice yesterday, but full today. So they'll be with their left tackle there. Jonathan Allen gets the veteran rest today. Will Fries, full participation, no designation. So their offensive line will seemingly be at full strength for this game. Javon Hargrave gets a veteran rest. Aaron Jones, full participation with his shoulder injury. He's obviously good to go. And Harrison Smith got a veteran rest day as well. Again, much shorter injury report for the Minnesota Vikings. But that does it for the final injury report here in Week 12. This is going to be a crazy stretch of games for the Green Bay Packers. Like I said, 3 straight divisional games. Haven't played a divisional game since Week 1, and this team looks vastly different from when they did there in Week 1. And 4 divisional games in the next 5 weeks. Like I've been saying, we're going to learn a lot about this football team. It's either going to be we fully believe they can take the NFC North and go deep into the playoffs, or we're going to be sitting here wondering about next season and the one after that without a first-round draft selection in either. It can go either way. There's a lot of variance because this team has been so confusing. Now, I'm confident for them against the Minnesota Vikings, and I think getting a little bit on fire here would be a great start then heading into Thanksgiving against the Lions, who just suffered a pretty poor loss against the Philadelphia Eagles. So really appreciate you guys coming by to this channel. I'll be live on Sunday streaming during the game, a live watch party. So be on the lookout for that on my live tab on my channel. Come on by, hang out, have some fun. Really appreciate you guys stopping by to the channel. Leave a like down below if you did enjoy the video. I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, go Pack Go.